I know what I want and how to do it. So why aren't I doing it? It's a phrase I hear so often when I'm working with my clients, the frustration of having a target, a goal, an outcome that they want to achieve, but the frustration of not actually doing the things that help to make them happen. And I work with some very successful, high achieving, intelligent, capable people. And it's got nothing to do with intelligence. It's got nothing to do with lack of desire or even motivation. It's all to do with what's going on up here. And that's the difference between achieving the outcome that you want and often not. And it gets highlighted quite a lot at this time of year when I'm working with people. And some people set themselves goals for the year ahead. Some people call them resolutions. But the reality is, just a few weeks in, most people have wobbled, most have faded, most have even failed. And it isn't because they weren't serious enough in the first place. It's simply because they often focus so much on the plan and the strategy, but they're working with outdated kind of programming, habits, beliefs, and conditionings. So what we're going to look at today is why often our behaviors and our habits are pulling in the opposite direction to the goals and the outcomes that we want to achieve. And I'm going to share with you my kind of 5-step reset that you can take yourself through at any time of year, at any point where you just need to kind of, if you're feeling like you're not getting anywhere or you're not where you want to be, it's just a nice way to reset and kind of get back on track if needed. So let's look at what's going on. When we consciously choose and decide that we want to achieve something, then we've made that decision at the conscious level. Intelligent as you might be, often that's not enough, because what we're also not, or what we've got to take into account, and the bit that we often don't, is the fact that our habits, our programming, our behaviors, our conditioning are controlled at the unconscious, subconscious level, the autopilot part, whatever you want to call it, the part that just does those things on autopilot. And sometimes what we want isn't always aligned with that programming. So it's like we're running to out of date software that is no longer serving us. So it's not necessarily right or wrong. It's just that programming is for a different time in our life. It's for a different focus. It's for a different goal. It's for a different outcome. So that's where we often experience that internal tug of war, the frustration, because we're trying to achieve something using out of date programming. I've said this before, and I'm always saying it to my clients, just think of it like technology. If you were using a mobile phone that was 5, 10, 15, 20 years old, it wouldn't be able to do the things that they can today. It isn't that it's right or wrong at its time. In its day, it was brilliant. It was fantastic. It was serving you well. Now it's just out of date. So when we kind of allow ourselves to release and let go of the good or bad, right or wrong, and just accept that it's out of date, that awareness helps us, and it makes it that much easier to update it, to move forward and find ourselves moving in the right direction. Because ultimately, the time will pass anyway. So it's up to us to choose whether we want to do it, making it more difficult and run into the out-of-date software, or help ourselves by updating it. So I'm going to quickly take you through my 5-step reset. It's a process that I take my clients through. You can take much longer than what we're going to in this short episode today, but I just wanted you to have this strategy that you can take yourself through anytime you want. And the 5 steps, the 5 R's, are reset, refocus, reconnect, realign, and results. To reset is simply to take a couple of moments to accept what I've just said, that sometimes we just need to firstly get a bit of clarity and check in on what it is that we want in the first place. What you're currently doing moving you to what you want or further away from it? A lot of these are going to overlap. So first of all, it's just to kind of focus and check in on where you are currently. In order to reset, you need to know where you're starting from. So have a look. Where are you currently? What are you currently doing? What are the results you're currently getting? Are you moving away or towards? And that's the first step. Just have that check in. And then the second step is to refocus on what you actually do want. So if you've taken the first step to kind of just check in on where you are, then check in and get some clarity on what it is that you actually want. So if you're able to program your mind, imagine it like the sat nav or a GPS system. If you could program it for what you actually want, what is it that you want? And again, this might sound quite simplistic, but often it's the bit that's missing for a lot of people. They're too focused on what they don't want or what they're not achieving. That the clarity or the lack of clarity isn't helping them. So first step is to reset. Second step is to refocus, to really focus on what it is that you actually want. And then third step is to reconnect to why you want it. What's so important about that? What is going to be the positive consequences to you, your life, the people around you? Why is this important to you? And for all my good intention in the world, I can't do this for you. It's your life, it's your mind, it's your choice, it's your decision. And we've got so many choices, we've got so many opportunities around us that we just have to select what we want. But it's so important to connect to why we want it, because if we don't want it enough, if it isn't that important to us, then the mind its primary default is to keep us safe and protected in what it feels is familiar. So if our old out of date ways of thinking is more familiar, then it will just keep going there. So the mind needs that incentive, it needs that instruction, it needs that guidance, it needs that emotional oomph and charge to actually make it happen. So it's really important to connect to why you want it and why it's important to you. No right or wrong, no judgment. It's whatever is important to you. So take a couple of moments to think about it. And if you haven't got clear on what you want and why you want it, then that's a really important thing to do. And then the fourth step is to realign. And as I said earlier, everything we do is either moving us towards what we want or further away from it. Both how we think, the kind of habits that we have, the actions that we take are all doing one of two things. So check in. Is what you're currently doing, are you utilizing your time? Are your habits, are your thoughts, is your self-talk, is your lifestyle traits moving you to where you want to be? And this time of year, I'm recording this at the beginning of a new year, and often the bit that comes up for a lot of people is that they want to make some changes. Maybe they've overindulged over Christmas. Maybe they just want to start getting ready for the spring and the summer and just looking after themselves a bit more. And when you are programmed to think, feel, and behave one way, and you're trying to choose some other lifestyle habits that are going to take you where you want to be, this is often where people experience that tug of war. So everything we've just said works for this. It works for everything else as well. All my clients, for whatever the reason that I see them for, we can apply this 5-step strategy. But it's quite topical, and I've had quite a lot of conversations with people at the moment who are kind of a bit frustrated, either because they want to lose a bit of weight or just they want to look after themselves better. They want to increase their kind of healthy lifestyle habits. They want to help themselves to be fitter, to be stronger. Whatever your motivation is, it's personal to you. But just bear that in mind. If you were somebody who was looking to update their lifestyle to increase their health, their wellness, their fitness, their mobility, is what you're doing aligned with that? Are your habits and your behaviors supporting it? An exercise that's always a good one to think about, because clients will often say to me that they are doing those things until they're honest with themselves. But if we were to imagine that you could set up an undercover TV crew to film you during a day, during a week, during a month, would we see you doing the things that are aligned with what it is that you want? And if it's not, then that's probably a good indicator and a good signal that it's time to make an update. It isn't because you're deliberately, consciously sabotaging and trying to undo your efforts, the goal, the results that you want to achieve. But if you're not doing it, it's not to beat yourself up for it. Please don't beat yourself up for it. Just acknowledge. If it is something you can change on your own, brilliant, fantastic, do it. But if you need a little bit of help or assistance, then by all means, reach out. It may be something I can support you with at some level. But just know, just if you take nothing else away from the fact that if you have that honest conversation with yourself and you're not currently doing the things that are going to help you to get the results, the outcome that you want, then it might be a good time to see how you can update and upgrade those habits and the behaviors so that you give yourself a much easier, effective chance of actually achieving it. And then number 5 is the results. Again, this links in superbly with that last one of realigning, and that is what results you're currently getting. And I said to you, please don't beat yourself up, but it's a good way to assess where you are, to check in on where you can improve, where you can course correct, how can you learn from what you're currently doing and the results you're currently getting. And if you're not getting the results you want, learn from it, course correct. What's the next step you can take? What's the one thing you can do to help yourself? What could you do to support your progress? What one thing could you upgrade in your self-talk, in your mindset, in your habits, your behaviors? So check in on the results you're getting. And again, don't beat yourself up of whether you think they're right, wrong, good, or bad. Just take the opportunity to have that check-in with yourself and know that you can course correct and make a more informed decision and choice based on where you are currently. And that's all we can do. We often get to a point where if we're feeling that inner resistance, if we're feeling that frustration, it's like we've got to a crossroads where we don't want to keep going on that path and we want to take that path. But the only way we can do that is to assess where we are and then course correct and decide whether we're going to keep going towards the things we don't want or we're going to start making changes to help us get to where we do want. So there you go. That's the 5-step reset. I'll leave all this, all the details in the description below. But just to remind you, it's reset, it's refocus, it's reconnect, it's realign, and it's result. So feel free to screenshot that, save that. But I'll leave everything in the description below. And like I said to you, doesn't matter whether you're looking to lose weight, to feel great, to get in shape, to improve your health, your fitness, your wellness, or some other goal that's important to you, you can always use this 5-step reset to help get yourself refocused and back on track whenever you need to. And like I said to you, if you need any help and support in making that happen, let me know. I always have a small number of one-on-one clients I work with every month. And I've got various different resources and programs that may be a good fit for you. So if you need any help, let me know. But before you go, please leave a comment below and let me know what you're going to take away from this episode and what's one thing that you're going to do differently from this moment forward. I look forward to reading what you're going to do next. And I look forward to hearing how much progress you now make. Take care for now, and I'll see you soon.